The international break is over, but Arsenal's form didn't actually take a break. From Saka, Merino, Eze, and other stars smashing it for their countries, here's a quick breakdown of how Arsenal players shined on international duty. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Bar Arsenal. The international break has kind of wrapped up, and if you thought our players are going to slow down, they must be mistaken. From Europe to South America, our players delivered. They were all called up from their various nations over the past couple of weeks, and as expected, they played very well. Lots of goals were scored, assists were created as well. So let's take a look at the standard performances and prove why this Arsenal squad is built different. Starting with the Spanish national team, Arsenal had the likes of Raya, Zubimendi, and Mikel Merino called for their nations. But as expected, Raya played both games on the bench because Unai Simon is the preferred goalie. He was actually the captain over both games. As for Zubimendi, he played 81 minutes in Spain's 2-0 win over Georgia. In that game, there were goals from Jurrien Timber and Mikel Merino. And Mikel Merino played 90 minutes in that game as well. But Merino was the star of the second game as Spain ran out as 4-0 winners against Bulgaria. Merino scored 2 times, Chenev scored an own goal, and Mikel Oyarzabal scored a penalty as Spain continued their dominance as the European champions. Merino, obviously, in the last international break, scored 2 goals as well, and he has continued that scoring feat for his country in this international break as well. That guy is just an amazing player that has proven his worth to the squad. As expected, Zubimendi played 63 minutes in the game against Bulgaria, as he played 81 minutes in the previous game. And in both games, he was substituted by Alex Garcia. Zubimendi is a player that has done very well since he joined the club, and it's good to see him take that form into the Spanish national team as well, especially with Rodri not around. Switching gears from the Spanish national team to the Spanish under-21 side, Christhian Mosquera was obviously the captain of the under-20 side. He didn't play in the first game when they beat Norway 4-1. He was on the bench for the entirety of the game, but he played 90 minutes and led his team to a 2-1 win over Finland under-20s. There were goals from Mayenda and Garcia, while Garcia-Rowski actually scored an unfortunate own goal. That Garcia-Rowski is Mosquera's partner in defense, and scored an unfortunate own goal to make it 2-1 to Spain. Mosquera obviously is enjoying his football, came in on from Valencia, slotted perfectly when Saliba got injured, and of course, with so many games, it's going to come thick and fast between now and the next international break. I expect Mosquera to get some minutes as well. Carlo Ancelotti and his Brazilian side played 2 friendly games in the Far East, with games against South Korea and Japan. The first friendly against South Korea ended in a 5-0 win, and Gabriel Martinelli was on the bench for the entirety of that game, while Gabriel Magalhaes played 90 minutes. In that game, Estevao scored 2 goals, Rodrigo scored 2 goals, and Vinicius Jr. scored the final goal to make it 5-0. However, when Brazil played Japan, they were surprised because they suffered a shock 3-2 loss to the Blue Samurai. They go from Minamino, Nakamura, and Ueda, while on the Brazilian side, our boy Gabriel Martinelli scored with Henrique. Gabriel actually stayed on the bench for the entirety of the game against Japan, while Martinelli played 57 minutes. It's good to see Martinelli getting some goals on international duty as well to add to the form that he has been showing in the club of recent. And his battle against Trossard on the left-hand side is going to be interesting because he very seriously receptively played through the middle. And I would expect Martinelli and Trossard to share minutes on the left flank before this international break. The Netherlands were on fire in this international break, scoring 8 goals and not conceding at all. And our boy, Jurrien Timber, played alongside Virgil van Dijk as the centre-back pairing for Holland. In the first game against Malta, they won 4-0 with 2 goals from Cody Gakpo, 2 penalties actually, to Johnny Reinders and Memphis Depay. I think Depay has broken the international goal scoring record for the Netherlands or so. He has been a stalwart for them, so it's good to see him get that record. In the second game against Finland, Jurrien Timber played 62 minutes and he was sold for Jean-Paul Van Hecke. There were goals from Donny Malen, Virgil van Dijk, Memphis Depay with a penalty, and Cody Gakpo. So this was good news for Timber, playing 90 against Malta and playing 62 against Finland. And I'm sure he's going to continue his amazing form in club football with a certain Ben White locking around to get his place back. Riccardo Calafiori played 180 minutes in 2 games for Italy, with the 3-1 win over Estonia away and the 3-0 win over Israel at home. For the Estonia game, our goalkeeper, who's currently on loan, Karl saved the penalty for Matteo Retegui, but of course, he still considered 3 goals, with goals from Moiskin, Retegui himself, and Esposito scoring for Italy. When Israel visited the Italians in the second game of the international break, Retegui was in good form again, scoring twice, while Gianluca Mancini scored the final goal for the Italians. Calafiori went through both games unscathed, which is a good thing, because he has the same as Lewis-Skelly waiting in the ranks. Christhian Norgaard played both games for Denmark in the international break, a 6-0 win over Belarus and a 3-1 win over Greece. In the game against Belarus, he actually came on as a sub for Martin Hochland, and there were goals from Froholt, Rasmus Højlund scored a brace, Dogu, the Manchester United left back, scored a goal as well, and there were 2 goals from Raya. In the 3-1 win against Greece, Christian Norgaard played 90 minutes, and there were goals from Rasmus Højlund again, Andersen of Fulham, of course, then Damsgaard of Brentford. Greece actually scored the goal from Solis. To France, Big Saliba played 90 minutes in both games for Le Bleu against Azerbaijan and Iceland. The Azerbaijan game was a routine 3-0 win, goals from Kylian Mbappe, Adrien Rabiot, and Florian Thauvin. While when they visited Iceland, they were shocked with the 2-2 draw. Iceland had goals from Victor Paulsen, Christian Hillensen, while Christopher Nkunku and Jean-Philippe Mateta scored for France. Arsenal had its largest contingent in the international break, with invites for Eberechi Eze, Myles, Lewis-Skelly, Declan Rice, and Bukayo Saka for England's games against Wales, which was a friendly, and Latvia, which was a World Cup qualifier. The games against Wales ended with a 3-0 victory, while the game against Latvia ended with a 5-0 victory. As for the Arsenal participation, Myles Lewis-Skelly played only 10 minutes in the 3-0 win over Wales. He came as a sub for John Stones. Declan Rice actually led the side and played 70 minutes before he was assisted by Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Bukayo Saka played 70 minutes against Wales and he scored a wonder goal. You guys need to check out that goal. It was like trademark Saka, top bins. And it was sold by Jarrod Bowen in the 70th minute. Eberechi Eze was on the bench for the entirety of the game against Wales. Switching gears to the Latvia game, Lewis-Skelly actually played 90 minutes this time as a left back for the team. Declan Rice played 60 minutes in the 5-0 win over Latvia, and he was substituted by Jordan Henderson. Bukayo Saka had an assist in the game as well, but in the 76th minute, he was substituted by Jarrod Bowen, while Eberechi Eze came on as a sub for Morgan Rogers in the 60th minute, and he scored the final goal of the game to make it 5-0. Just like we did with the Spanish team earlier on, we switched gears from the senior team to the under-21s, and our boy Nwaneri was obviously on the under-21 side that defeated Moldova 4-0 and won Andorra 1-0. In the Moldova game, he played the number 10 role, created 2 beautiful assists. There goals from Vivian Mubama, who scored a brace, Jamie Gittins of Chelsea, and Man City's youngster Rico Lewis. In the game against Andorra, Nwaneri played from the right wing, and the only goal of the game came from what they call the Temu Saka, that's Tyreek George of Chelsea, to make it 1-0. As for Sweden, this was quite a disappointing spell for Viktor Gyokeres because he played alongside Alexander Isak in the 2 losses Sweden suffered against Switzerland and Kosovo. Both games were actually at home, which was quite disappointing. This is the 10th game now, I think, since Gyokeres scored. I think the last goal was against Nottingham Forest sometime in September. And obviously, he'll be fighting hard to break that dog. Unfortunately, it didn't happen with the destination. So it's back to the drawing board and back to Arsenal for him. Finally, we'll have a quick look at Leandro Trossard, who played as a centre forward for Belgium in both games against North Macedonia and Wales. The North Macedonia game, he played 74 minutes. He was subbed by Malik Fofana after 74 minutes. But that game ended in a 0-0 draw. When Belgium played against Wales, Trossard played 90 minutes in that game. He ended 4-2. There were goals from Joe Rodon and Broadhead for Wales, while Kevin De Bruyne scored 2 penalties. Meunier scored as well, and Trossard scored the final goal of the game. So that was a quick roundup of all the games that Arsenal players will deliver in international break. Obviously, it was a long one, and we were happy that. But the most important thing was that there were no injuries recorded. The only injury was Odegaard, as we already aware, and that was prior to international break. Yes, he actually traveled to be with the Norway side, but he could not participate with his injury. So the news we've heard now that he's going to be out till the next international break. It takes injuries to as much as 8 weeks. We wish him well. I'm very happy that right now this is done and all focus will go to the Fulham game that's going to come over in the weekend. Hope you enjoyed the international break. And of course, if you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next video. Till then, come on, you gunners.